Welcome back, boys, for the Triple B Boy podcast coming at you hot this year, dude. We got a new father who's joining the team for good. He's gonna be on here with us weekly. We got the big bad Josh coming back in, dude. He's engaged, ready to go, ready to
You
show
forgot the most
Melanie.
important part, Bren. Come on
What's
now.
the most important part?
That I am your champion.
Oh God, I'm not gonna make it week to
You
week,
know,
bro.
I was
Not
gonna
gonna
say,
make it.
maybe bring it up to start because I knew it was just gonna be thrown in
It's already
like
wearing on me.
every.
I am the first of the belt holder. Your
For sure.
champion, Josh
You are
Rodriguez.
the first belt holder. That is true. That is true.
I'm just here trying to get some of that magic, some of that belt magic.
He should have been over here for the draft, man. Look at
Yeah.
Shane. He had the best draft ever.
I
According to him.
Shane had your place down on cover pretty well. I don't think he can be over there.
That was a fun night.
Good.
Shane was so dumb.
But yeah, so what's cool about this one is we're starting early. We're starting on time this year. As last year we didn't. We were, I think, a couple weeks in.
Yeah.
So what's cool about this year is we're gonna actually get to go over the draft. We're gonna get to do our do some rankings.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be super cool to be able to go through, kind of analyze the draft and pick people's brains about it. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I'm excited to judge people for sure.
So let's go ahead and what we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and go over the draft kind of overall, and then Josh has some great little tidbits that we're gonna jump into as well.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I just wanted to talk about the draft overall. Like, 'cause I thought, hey, this year everybody seemed pretty. Like the draft only lasted like an hour and a half or 2 hours.
Right.
Like I felt like that was super quick. Like everybody kind of knew who they were going with and stuff like that, you know, which I thought was cool because it meant people actually somewhat prepared for it.
And I think, also we drafted with more people remote this time too, less people like there. And I think
Yeah,
the
less
pressure was
distraction,
off.
kind of.
Yeah, less distraction, and it just caused it to flow a little bit more.
I mean,
Yeah,
I had a
and-
blast drafting by myself, so
Yeah.
it might happen more frequently. I feel like I did well, so
Yeah, no,
I don't know about you guys, but I had my dick in my hand the whole time. The whole time.
Oh, I'm the champion. I don't put my dick in my own hand. I put it. Other people hold it for me. So
Shane was holding your dick and his dick, dude.
yeah.
Jeez. No wonder it was so weird over there, dude. I mean, it definitely went really quick, which was actually very nice. I was kind of worried it was going to take longer. So that's just another reason we should probably up the pick time to 5 minutes next year, Nate.
Oh my goodness, 5 minutes. Justin was freaking milking that clock, man. So I don't know. He would milk that 5 minutes.
I'll settle for 3, but yeah, no, it was. Overall, I think everyone drafted really well. I mean,
right.
Did anyone shock you? Like you were sitting there, and then all of a sudden it was like, boom, shit, that went way too quick.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot because, like, especially at 2, like the time in between like my first pick and my second and third, and then between my third and blah blah. Like, I did feel like I got to those real quick because normally I could sit there and like just kind of like chit chat for a little bit, blah blah, and then I still have some picks to kind of gather where I'm going. Like, I had to be on my toes this time to like exactly what he said. Everybody was drafted, and all the teams, like we were saying earlier, came out really even. Like, this is the hardest freaking post draft ranking that I've ever had to do so
it's not
far.
Hard. I'm the best.
No. We'll
look
get
at my
that,
team.
Craig.
Yeah.
We'll get to that.
For me, like, I was shocked. I'm always shocked, but when those first few QBs come off the board, like, it always seems to happen earlier than any mock I ever do, and like where I have it in my head as value and
right, yeah,
screws everything up.
Yeah, that shocked me that Mac took him there, but I get why he did it because he didn't think he was going to get him at that 4 or 5 turn.
And he probably wouldn't have.
Right, exactly.
I don't know, man. I guess that's where he gets drafted. I just don't know if anyone
well,
else
I will
would
tell you
take
this:
him.
he wasn't getting him at the 4 or 5 turn because I was going to take Mahomes at 4 if he was
Oh,
there at my
okay.
4th pick, and I'm right before him.
Well,
So
that's a good pick then.
yeah, so he wasn't going to get him, but I
You
don't
have
know
to reach if you're gonna get a
job,
man
Matt.
like
right,
that.
exactly, and that's the thing when you're that like 1 or 2 pick or even 9 or 10 is you almost have to reach for someone you want pretty much because you're not getting them once your last pick ends, like to say.
For the most
So
part,
yeah, so but no, like I was surprised. There's a lot of picks that not where the player got drafted, but the person who picked the player surprised me. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Well, I'm
No, it
saying
does.
like I was talking with Dan.
Barber really threw a wrench in my shit. Just saying.
Yeah, with that Devontae Adams.
No, I love that. That actually worked out real well. But the rest of his draft screwed me over.
I know.
Justin kept snagging guys from me.
Yeah, I was hooking Justin up for sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Because of my strategy that I was going with. But I was talking with like Dan, and I was like, I was surprised he went Nick Chubb at his 11th pick. I was surprised about that. And like I get it once he explained it to me, but I was like, I just didn't see you drafting Nick Chubb, I saw you drafting someone else, whether it was going receiver, or whatever. But yeah, he didn't have a good draft in his own words. He was salty.
I mean, even with Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb is such a tank. Like, I would love to have him on my team.
Right, yeah.
I'm glad he didn't fall to me because I would have been I probably would have picked him over Harris, but
yeah, and I wasn't dogging that pick at all. I was just saying it surprised me that he took him. Like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, and stuff. But yeah, on that note though, like for you guys, is there anything like knowing how it played out and stuff that you kind of wish you might have done differently? We'll go with Bren first.
Okay, for me, it was that like very beginning where my strategy was originally going to be to do like running back, wide receiver, and then kind of float from there.
Yeah.
And when Saquon Barkley didn't get picked, and it's now the second round, and I'm like, do I pass him up and let someone, a couple pieces down pick him up and then be a beast, or do I take the risk right now and grab him in the second round, which to me was kind of a steal.
Right.
So
no,
it threw everything off though for me, because from there, now I no longer had that like top wide receiver. I was going to go probably Stephon Diggs. So like no Stephon Diggs, and I've got to kind of work it out. So it was weird.
Yeah, it puts you on tilt a little bit because you said, you have that in your head that this is how I'm doing it.
Yeah.
And if something like that happens, but like what's nice for you too though is taking that is he's not your RB1. So if he doesn't work out, you still have Eckler, So that was to me that was, well, we'll get later, but yeah. No, I totally get that. So yours was actually in a good way, kind of like it went different.
Yeah. It ended up being okay, but it was definitely something where it was like, if I could go back, would I maybe let Saquon go and go
yeah,
right. Stick my game plan.
Yeah. What about you, Craig?
No, I did everything exactly how I planned it. So,
okay, that's fair.
Basically,
bitch, dude.
I think I was telling Brent, I was telling you guys earlier, my thought process on the whole thing was that there's such a small pool of valuable running backs that can really be game changers. And as in comparison to wide receivers who go all the way down to 5th, 6th, 7th round. So
yeah,
my full thought process was to go running back early.
So I guess let me ask you then. So like the running backs that kind of get picked up a little bit later, like the Gus Edwards, the Chris Carson.
Yes.
Those guys don't interest you at all.
They interest me. I mean, obviously, yeah, I would love to have Chris Carson on my team.
Chris Carson, I think, was 4th round.
4th round, yeah.
Or even later,
Chris Carson was 4th round.
Played, no, I don't love Josh Jacobs.
So I guess like I said, in my thought, with having a top tier running back. Well, how am I gonna? Well, I don't know. I guess with Godwin, no. Bros, you have to edit this out because I'm a little high. Tyler Lockett and Thielen, I think, are more valuable than Chris Carson.
Sure, I see what you're saying.
I think
That's
overall,
fair.
so like basically like I said, so the lower, I guess, considered tier or the wide receiver twos, lower tier receivers, I think will make up more and or the same than that same tier
So
running
you
back.
see, so with your thought process, you were thinking with the way that you just draft that the quality of wide receivers in that like area were higher than the quality of running backs you could have got if you went the opposite way. That was your thought process.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and that's fair. That's a totally fair.
I mean, you basically, like you know, there's 1 or 2 running backs per team. 32. So I mean, they just go quick. So the ones that are at least valuable. So.
What about you, Josh? Would you have done something different?
Yeah, probably. I don't like so at the 2-3 turn and the 4-5 turn. I like, don't get me wrong, I like my team, but I just, part of me wishes I could go back and do something different, just see how it turned out. So like, instead of taking Waller, maybe if I took a second receiver there, like AJ Brown or something. But I was just, man, I just don't want to deal with streaming tight ends and all that stuff. So I just wanted like a set it and forget it tight end, that I don't have to worry about. And
so it's not drafting someone different than Alvin Kamara.
No.
Yeah, that was bullshit, by the way.
Because I actually that's what I was saying like earlier off the air, like to say is that like I really was considering taking Devontae Adams at 2.
You really were.
Yeah, because what I was gonna do if I did that, I was just gonna ball out and get like 3 wide receivers. Like I would have taken then 2 receivers with my first 2 picks, Waller with my 3rd pick, and then I would have taken a top tier. Like I probably would have taken Josh Allen at the 4 pick, or a wide receiver at the 4 pick, and then Allen at the 5 pick. And then
so you would have been saving running backs for later.
That's because I kind of view opposite of Craig, where I like those later running backs, where I feel like they could still give me, they might not be an Alvin Kamara or something, but they could still give me, 10 to 15 points a week. Sure. And then if my wide receivers are balling out like they should, if I have 3 top 5 receivers, a top 2 tight end, a top 2 quarterback.
Yeah,
they'll make up for those running backs as long as they're somewhat productive.
The thought process definitely ran through my head with how it played out for Bren last year with all his amazing receivers.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, well, it also kind of fits. Yeah, like what Josh was saying there. If he would have gone with that top set of 3 wide receivers and a top tight end and a great quarterback, that was kind of the comp that I had last year.
Yeah, but then ultimately I was like, well, at least get, a great running back with obviously a top 2 pick. And then if anything, blow off the running back situation until later in the draft. But then, like I said, I don't know. Like when it came to that 4th pick, I just didn't like the receivers there at the 4th pick. So then I reached for DeAndre Swift. Not reach, but like,
that
his ADP there. Yeah, his ADP was there, and I was just like, I don't know. So then I kind of panic picked because I was like, well, I'll just get a second running back, and I don't know. I didn't
like that.
And for those rookies out there, ADP is average draft position.
Yeah, sorry, average draft position. Yeah, for people like Shane who don't know what that means.
Shane who clearly has no idea what a mock draft is.
Right, exactly. So, but yeah, that was like, so that would probably be the other thing was instead of Swift, because I was considering Swift and then Allen, and I ended up taking Swift. And I wish I would have taken.
I don't know if I like that, man. I think there's a couple other ones.
Yeah.
Now, which wide receivers were you looking at that you were like, no, I'm not going with those?
So like Thielen was there, Lockett was there, but like, I don't know. Thielen scares me just because of last year what happened with relying so heavily on the touchdowns. Lockett he had 3 games produce like 50-something% of his points that he scored on the year. Mm-hmm. He had like 9 games where he scored under 6 points. So like
Yes, because DK Metcalf screwed everything up, Josh.
Well, no, I know, but that's what I mean. Like
that guy.
Well, I was gonna say, Josh just essentially shat on your team right there.
I was gonna say, yeah, fuck out of here, dude. What is this?
Well, like Lockett, fucking awful.
Well,
no, you're completely right. Go ahead.
Well, Thielen could repeat it though, because Irv Smith getting hurt helps him, so he could totally repeat it. But it's just I don't know. With
they're
a weak
also two run-heavy teams,
right? Exactly, and that's the thing. Like, how much are they gonna be passing and stuff? And I mean, it worked out last year, but if their defense gets better than it was last year, like that was like a bottom 3 defense last year. You expect it to be better. Are they going to be passing as much? You know, that type of thing. And so, so like that's probably a couple things I would have changed. Is maybe in one of those situations going a different route and just seeing where my draft would have taken me, you know?
Yeah,
for sure. I mean, it crosses my mind. And trust me, I am Tyler Lockett worries me. I mean, he's proven to be a boomer bust type of receiver, but you know, Russell Wilson, the potential's always there. So Thielen, I'm hoping is just gonna have a much better year. So
and with Lockett too, they have a new offensive coordinator this year, so it might be different, you know.
To be fair, I do still have, you know, T. Higgins, OBJ. And
well, and that's the thing. If your running backs are solid, like they should be, really, you can have 2 boomer bust players in there because all you really need is one of them to hit. It doesn't matter which one, you know.
That is the hope. That is the hope.
Yeah,
like I said, with receivers, I mean, half-point PPR. I feel like it's more benefit. They always get more points usually, unless you know you're comparing them to a great running back.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. So, but did we want to kind of go by team, not like a deep analyze, but like kind of pick who we think is the best pick of that team for the draft?
Oh yeah.
I mean, now that we've got this sweet list that Craig made for us with this Excel sheet,
dude, I'm really getting into Excel, man. I'm really liking the Excel. I've had Kelsey look at me and be like, "You suck at Excel." Like, fuck out of here. But I think I'm doing great.
I mean, besides like color coding, like this thing's pretty on point, you know?
Spacing's a little off. That's all right.
We can literally just go like, okay, Mac was pick 1. Let's look at his team and see which pick was best for his, you know, and shit like that. So let's just do that. Let's just go like, you know, Mac first, then me, and then just go that way since it's all in a row. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we'll start with Mac's team, and like, so we're just doing so everybody listening understands. We're not doing like who we think their best player is, just who we think their best pick was for like value, basically. Yeah.
Oh yeah, the rounds are gonna come into play for sure.
Right, especially now that we're a keeper league, right? And I think a lot of people were. I was kind of surprised how many of you guys were thinking that way of like, I'm going to take this player that way. If he balls out, I can keep him in the 12th round next year, you know? So that made me like feel like a proud father to you guys.
You could definitely feel the pressure when I remember I was drafting like my first three picks. I'm like, I can't keep in these motherfuckers. Like, oh my God, I got to start drafting people I can keep. Like, geez.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Well, obviously you want later rounds anyway, but still, I mean, the mindset was definitely there.
Mm-hmm.
So with Mac's team, man, his is hard because I felt like he either reached.
Well, he is, the first overall pick.
Right. It's hard for him.
It's a little bit harder because
not a good year for one.
So, like, honestly, I think taking Mahomes in the 3rd round is probably his best pick because he wasn't getting him anywhere else. And you pair him with McCaffrey. That's a dangerous game right there. You have potentially the number 1 QB and the number 1 RB. So I'm going with Mahomes on that one.
Okay. I'm going to go Koo. Gotta get that fucking Young
Wei Koo.
Yeah, dude.
Young Ho Koo.
Is
that a kicker? Isn't that a kicker?
That's a kicker.
It's Young Wei Koo, Craig.
Hottest value on that team.
Not
right
Young
there,
Ho.
dude.
I mean, Patrick Mahomes makes a lot of sense after the argument you guys said earlier, but I don't honestly like anything on Mac's list after Cooper Kupp. So I'm gonna go with Cooper Kupp.
I think he's an underrated player.
Yeah, in the 4th round. I'm surprised Cooper Kupp didn't go earlier, personally, but
yeah.
Like, but I get it. But I think Cooper Kupp's gonna have a great year, especially with Stafford. So I'm gonna say that's probably his best pick.
Right. So
no,
we'll go.
Cooper Kupp was my real pick.
You want to just do best and worst at the same
Yeah,
time?
we can do best and worst at the same time.
Yeah.
Well,
my worst is
go
ahead.
ahead.
You go first. I'm gonna go last. I forgot.
Okay. My worst, I think, is going to be Josh Jacobs. I mean, I've just never been a Josh Jacobs fan.
Someone had to pick him.
Yeah, I know, but I still think the 5th round in a 10-team league is a little high for Josh Jacobs.
For sure.
mean, last year he had a couple boom games. He was like the Tyler Lockett of running backs, pretty much. And
was he injured?
Maybe for like a couple of games, but for the most part, though, he only had a couple boom games where he scored like 35, 40 points.
Yeah.
And then after that, he was very mediocre at best. So I don't know. Just I get it. That's your pick too, but like I would have rather taken Javonte Williams and then like another receiver or something like that over Josh Jacobs and Williams. But so I'm gonna go with Josh Jacobs for mine.
Gotcha. Yeah, I know. So like originally we were gonna do just the one best pick by another team and one worst pick by another team, but now we're going through each one. Josh Jacobs was gonna be my, worst pick out of everyone. Only because of the research of what I saw, which is they lost a lot of O-line there, and they're predicted to be abysmal. That's my scare there. I like Josh Jacobs, like the person, though. Like he's still young, and he could have a great year. He could be, the bad offensive line could have, not really even affect him. I don't know.
Right. Yeah.
But Josh Jacobs is my one bad pick from him. Yeah.
Okay, your turn, Craig.
I want to say Leonard Fournette, but it's so late. It's like round 10, so like I can't be mad at him.
At that point, you're just throwing darts anyways.
I was gonna say I probably would say I don't like DK Metcalf as high as he took him. I wouldn't have taken DK Metcalf that high.
Somebody's got to take him.
And then his only tight end is Goddard on there.
Yeah. But I mean, in the 13th or the 12th round,
right?
You wait that. I mean, yeah, he probably should have a second tight end. So like,
probably should have a second
one. I don't like Goddard, but in the 12th round, I can't be mad at it.
Right? I can't be mad at where he got him. No. Yeah.
Right, exactly.
That's surprised. I heard real quick and short. I heard Giovanni Bernard was going to be the place to be in Tampa Bay. Still on Tampa Bay?
Yeah, because some people think he might take the James White role.
Yes,
which it's possible because Fournette and Ronald Jones can't catch. So
yes, and but PPR. I heard. I'm surprised no one took him. I would take him, but I got no room.
But it all too depends. Yeah, it's a 10-team league, so it's kind of hard for that. But it all depends too. Like, if you expect the Tampa Bay Buccaneers to be blowing people out a lot or heading games a lot where they don't need a pass catching running back, or do you think they'll be close in games or behind in games where they can use that type of back in their thing?
Tom Brady's
are more common.
Yeah, exactly. So it all just depends on your mindset. So
that's fair.
All right, let's move on to myself.
Big bad Josh.
Yeah, we'll start with you two. So we'll go Craig first for best pick of mine.
Your best pick.
Mm-hmm.
I would probably say, man, oh man, Antonio Brown in 11 was good. I thought he'd go sooner. I mean, that's kind of where he was going.
Yeah, but for that upside though,
upside. I mean, at the price, I wanted Antonio Brown. I don't know why I didn't. I can't remember why. I'd have to look at my draft why I didn't take him or get him, but he would be the one wide receiver I'd want to take because of the value you can get him for. So
right, exactly.
11. I mean, 11's pretty good. So
yeah, that's kind of my thought process too. When I took him, was at that point, I was like, "What do I have to lose?"
Right. With how wide receiver was going, I felt someone would have scooped all three sooner than 10.
Right.
11, so
yeah, because I really didn't want anything to do with the Tampa Bay really offense just because I feel like it's going to be so confusing. But like I said, at that point, I was just like, screw it. I'll take it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. I would pick him up if you ever dropped him. I like me some AB, like top.
All right, so
top
him
tier.
for Najee Harris.
Him for Najee. Yeah, for sure,
Yeah,
bro.
that's
Yes,
what I
take
hear,
my
yeah.
second pick. Let's do it.
All right, Bran, what's yours?
It's either gonna be Jonnu Smith or Lamar. Lamar only because you got him a little bit later than some of the
In the
people were
7th
picking
round.
up
Yeah.
top quarterbacks, and he averages 1,000 yards on the ground, which
Right.
in our league, two things to kind of remember is that quarterbacks only get 5 points for throwing a touchdown, not 6. And
Bullshit.
then
But it's not 4 either. Like ESPN's like standard league, it's only 4 per passing touchdown.
4.
So
Oh, okay, I thought most leagues it was 6 for passing touch. But anyways,
but yeah, I
it's
get
like
what
you
you're
get a
saying.
little
Yeah.
bit less there. It's just Lamar. He's an electric player, so you're potentially looking at having some 40-point games out of him.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, like too, I was happy because he was the last of like that tier of like quarterbacks that I feel could end at the number 1 quarterback. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like you
gotcha.
had Mahomes, you had Allen, you had Prescott, you
Right.
had Murray, and then Lamar Jackson was the last one. So I was stoked to get him in the end of or the beginning of the 7th, whatever it was.
I was scared to draft him, bro. Have fun with that. Have those nightmares.
But Jonnu Smith would have been my other just solid value because you got him so late. And
yeah, dude, that's what I.
Mac Jones is going to be the quarterback there.
Yeah,
and it's like easy red zone threat.
That's what I said because that would be mine too. Is Jonnu Smith because I was thinking the same thing, Lamar or Jonnu for my best pick. But because I got him in the 13th round. I'm like, this dude's a top 10 tight end most likely, and he has a chance to be in the top 5.
Right?
Like,
yo, I'll trade you for Fant. Toss him over there.
Hey, no, I already tried that earlier, and you said, "Get out of here, Fant's
Did you try that?
Yeah, I said I'll trade you Jonnu, and you're like, "No, Fant's healthy. Get out of here."
I don't remember this.
Yeah. I know.
I'll screenshot it and put it in the group chat. All right?
Let's not do that.
All right,
I remember it.
What's my worst pick? Craig, we'll start with you again.
DeAndre Swift. I can't believe you even want a Lions running back on your team, dude. That's disgusting.
Well, okay.
Gross.
Real quick, I agree 100% that DeAndre
so early
is the worst pick at that point in the game. But everybody who really scared me with those kinds of picks, they got their other guy. So
right,
Jamal Williams or DeAndre Swift, one of those two is gonna eat. Like they're going to eat, and he's got both of them. So it's like, even though he took that early pick, nobody snagged that handcuff. Which
and that's why I'm surprised I got Jamal Williams in the 10th round. Honestly, I thought people were gonna value him a little higher.
Yeah,
but I was thinking with my 8th or 9th pick of taking Jamal just to make sure I got him. Because that was my thought process exactly. I was like, I'm investing a 4th round pick in Swift, and he does have a concussion history and stuff like that. So I was like, if he's gonna go down, I need to have his backup because I feel there is value though in that backfield because they're gonna be down all the time, the Lions. So they're gonna be passing, and they don't have many pass catching options. Well, guess what? 2 of their best pass catching options are in their field. So they could easily get 60, 70 catches. I'm not saying they're going to be top. I'm not saying they're going to be top well, you got to think though, they're not going to have much rushing production. You know what I mean? So
I guess I just have a sour taste in my mouth
and that's completely fair. I totally
it's not fair to really look until they're going to be a new offense this year. So I guess
I'm
judging a book
this week. I don't know. I'm not playing either of them because Swift's playing, but he hasn't practiced and shit. So I don't know what that split's going to be. So I'm gonna wait a week, maybe 2. But yeah. So all right, Brian, what's your not favorite pick of mine?
It's still DeAndre for me.
Mm-hmm.
Just simply because, like you said, I think it's going to be a week or 2 before you figure that out. So you're gonna struggle a little bit till that gets figured out.
Yeah, and like I said before too, that was kind of a panic pick of mine. DeAndre
just wait till they split 50-50 and neither of them produce because the offense can't get down the field.
At that point, if the rest of my team pans out and he's getting me 10 points a week, I don't care which one it is. Just give me 10 points a week.
That's true. 10 points a week.
So right. Whatever.
You're right.
For me, it'd probably be Cortland Sutton for my not like my least favorite pick, just because I don't know. But with the wide, like I wasn't an OBJ fan because like I need production from that spot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Since that really is one of my two probably weaknesses on this team. And so I maybe would have gone because it was between him and Judy.
I was say their ADP was so close; they sat right next to each other.
Right, and I was what decided it for me was I think Sutton's gonna get more touchdowns. Judy's gonna be the catch monster, but I think Cortland's gonna be getting the touchdowns. So I hope he pans out, but if he doesn't, then
I think you're pronouncing Noah Fant wrong.
Nah, he's gonna get nothing.
How dare you? That's fair. Yeah, I don't know about Sutton. That's whatever. It was an interesting pick.
All right, let's move on to Justin.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I'll start since I haven't started the last 2 times. So my favorite pick of his, like, I mean, we said this earlier. He had a lot of people fall to him, and he took advantage of it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, though, I think it's DJ Moore in the 6th round.
Yeah, okay.
That's probably my favorite. I thought I'm high on DJ Moore, and so for him to get him that late as his wide receiver 3 and still have a good an awesome running back, 2 other awesome wide receivers, and a stud QB, I think that was a huge pick for him. Was that one?
Okay.
So we can go Craig next.
Probably I like Josh Allen in the 5th. I mean, I'm not sure what Josh Allen's ADP was or where he was going in drafts, but I feel like that's closer to where if I was drafting with a bunch of people like me, like 4 and 5 is where Patrick Mahomes is going. So
yeah, that was about his ADP, the 5th round.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean I like the pick. I mean, top 3 quarterback.
For me, it's Kyle Pitts. I think Kyle Pitts is gonna just be electric this year. I think he's just a talent that's just gonna be awesome. And like all the other top tight ends were getting drafted super early. You know, like Darren Waller went early, Kittle went early, Kelsey went super early. So it's like now you're trying to find that like next top 5 tight end, which is like almost impossible to find. And he grabbed Kyle Pitts in the 7th. Which may be a little too early, but I like I said, I think Kyle Pitts is just going to be like.
I heard
really
you get hyped when he picked him up. I heard you hollering over there.
Yeah, I was pissed. I wanted him so.
Yeah, and like
because you can see, I drafted Logan Thomas shortly after that.
Right.
So I wanted Pitts. But
I also like Claypool in the A. I'm surprised. I mean, Claypool's got so much upside, especially with what he did last year. I'm surprised he didn't go earlier with that offense. So.
Yeah, I was talking with Dan earlier, and I told Dan we were talking about Justin's because I was thinking Pitts too. The only problem is like Pitts to like kind of be a top end tight end. He has to have the best rookie season ever, and then probably plus some. But if Pitts hits, even if he's not like a top 2 tight end, but if he's like top 3 or 4 tight end,
that's big. Yeah,
Justin's gonna be super hard to beat.
Right,
super hard.
Very much so.
So, all right, we'll move on to worst pick. For me, it's Miles Sanders.
Yeah, same.
I mean,
100%.
It's in the 4th round, but that offense is just so you don't know what's going on.
It's gonna be bad.
And I'm surprised he picked Sanders since he didn't have luck with him last year.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm a little surprised at that. But to me, that's probably his worst pick.
Yep. No, I agree. And it's not like he's got the running back depth really to fight his you know what, he's got Ronald Jones left.
Yeah, Ronald Jones.
I like that.
He took Alexander Madison, so that doesn't really. It only helps him if Dalvin Cook goes down. You know,
right? So I think Sanders is where things could be really interesting for him.
I mean, I don't know. I like Sanders in the 4th. I think it's just right where he was going. I mean, once again, new offense. You don't really know what can happen. He's the guy there. So, I think in the 4th round, it's all right. Yeah. I get why you wouldn't like it because you tried to trade me last year. I didn't want nothing.
I mean, like if I was in Justin's shoes, what I would have done with that 4th round pick instead of taking Sanders is I would have because you already have Dalvin Cook. And to me, Dalvin Cook, Alvin Kamara, and Christian McCaffrey, those are all basically 2 running backs. So you could completely blow out, like, wait till the 10th round to take your RB2, and I would have took like Hawkinson or whatever, or Andrews or Kittle Kittle wasn't there, but I would have taken one of those other 2 tight ends that I feel are a tier above Kyle Pitts. And really,
Sanders did some work for you last year, though. I mean, like, if he stayed healthy, he did some work in that trash offense. So,
not really. I mean, he did some, but not much.
He had some good games.
Yeah, but you got to think he had 3 runs of like 70 yards or more for a touchdown, and without those, he really didn't do shit.
And then, but look who got drafted right after him too. Chris Carson and David Montgomery.
Right? Yeah, I would have
both better than Miles Sanders.
If he would have taken Chris Carson in the 4th round, that would have been my favorite pick of his.
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I would say DJ Moore is I don't like DJ Moore. I think it was his worst pick. I think he's proven to be. Who is it? Robbie Anderson? Isn't that the other guy in that one?
Robbie Anderson.
Yeah, I think he's been proven to be. I had him last year. He's been proven to be.
McCaffrey's back and healthy.
Yeah, so I mean,
didn't DJ Moore finish higher than him?
Did he?
I think so. Or they're right around the same. They were both
close.
Yeah, because DJ Moore got they reversed roles. Like you would have thought Anderson was the deep guy and Moore would be like this kind of more roles, and they were opposite. Like I think DJ Moore only had 60 receptions last year, but the previous 3 years he's had almost 100 each year and had over 1,000 yards every year.
I always felt like Anderson had the higher target share, and then I went and looked it up and they had similar target share. So I just remember seeing more, I think, just athletic plays from Robbie Anderson.
DJ Moore's problem his whole career has been touchdowns. He's like a Julio Jones where he just doesn't get
right. I mean, either way,
4 touchdowns.
Yeah, I don't like the dual receiver dynamic is really well for that. I mean, it works real well for the team. I just don't like it in fantasy. It's like running back.
I mean,
New England.
I think for his wide receiver 3, it's a fine pick in the 6th round. And so if that was his wide receiver 2, then I could see that, but
I just don't like the offense.
Yeah, no, it's just different. Yeah, we just kind of like Miles Sanders, we view him a little differently,
For sure.
So, all right, let's move on to Bunk. And so who wants to go first for this one? We'll go Brian. Brian, you go first.
So his best pick might be something like Mike Davis all the way down in the 6th. I like potentially Robert, the tight end.
At 11, in the 11th round.
If he got him in the 11th round, and if Aaron Rodgers suddenly kind of flips to just loving the tight end position, there's one thing you know about Aaron Rodgers is that he throws touchdown passes. And
and he has Rodgers as his QB, so he has that nice little stack. Because Tunyon did have had 7 touchdowns last year or something, and for a tight end, that's all you can ask for. I mean, he's not going to give you that week to week production, but he can win you a week pretty much,
Essentially, and then my worst pick for him is going to be Deontay Johnson in the 5th round. I don't like the Steelers in general this year, but I also just think new offensive coordinator, that offense is going to look really differently. I don't think Deontay Johnson eats all those little passes up left and right.
Especially in the 5th round. Like, if he had taken him in the 6th or 7th, I'd be more okay with it. But the 5th round. Yeah. So, all right, Craig, you want to go second?
Yeah, sure. I mean, my favorite is definitely Carson. And my worst would be right after it.
Deontay
Johnson. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Justin Jefferson in the 3rd. I don't think he's gonna. I don't think he's gonna be as good as people think he's.
Guy who drafted Thielen doesn't like Jefferson.
I know, right? Yeah.
Well,
that might be a little biased right there.
No bias. Thielen's gonna be better. Justin Jefferson, he don't got it. It's a bad pick.
Right.
So my favorite, if it was gonna be Carson, if Justin had picked him in the 4th, obviously Carson went after him. I'm gonna say Carson as well. And then my least favorite's Mike Davis. I mean, I get it, but now they signed Wayne Gallman, who's a good running back. And if you think about it, the Falcons have never been able to run the ball properly, really. I mean, even when they had Devontae Freeman, a lot of his value came because he was an every down back and because he could catch the ball. I just don't see them doing that with Mike Davis.
Is Gallman the guy from the Giants? He was on the Giants last year.
He was on the Giants last year, and then the 49ers cut him. So, but yeah,
but he balled out for New York last year when he played.
Right, exactly. That's what I mean. So I gotta think that they're gonna give him some work, and stuff. So
I didn't know that they had signed him.
Yeah. So all right, let's move on to Barber real quick. So I'll go first on this one. My favorite pick of his, I'm gonna say, I don't know. Like I don't really know if I have a favorite pick of his. Well, I'm not saying.
I was just gonna say the same thing, dude. Like his whole team is shit. Shit.
This guy doesn't know how to play. Who invited him to the league?
I wasn't gonna say that. I was just gonna say I feel like where he took people, I feel like they're all
right
properly picked. Yeah, so I don't. Yeah, I mean, I guess if I go ahead.
What about AJ Dillon? What about AJ Dillon, dude?
Sure, we'll go.
Sure.
Okay, wait. I got one.
To get AJ
Hold on, no, I got one. It's Marvin Jones in the 13th. That's my
favorite. I wanted Marvin so bad in the late rounds.
Yep, in the 13th.
He could be Alshon Jeffrey.
He could be a value. And then my worst pick, I'm gonna go the Bucks defense in the 8th round. I mean, I get taking a defense, but in the 8th round, that just seemed like you could have got more depth with that pick in your team.
But they returned every starter on that defense.
Yeah, I mean, but how many times was a defense great, that year, and then the next year they suck, or vice versa. I mean, I'm just saying in the 8th, there's still a lot of value to be had with skill positions. You could have taken the Bucks in the 10th.
In a 10-man league.
Right. You could have taken the Bucks in the 10th or 11th, probably. You know what I mean? So that's all. That's why
he didn't know. He didn't draft those before.
So,
good picks. They're all good picks.
What he's doing.
Yeah. All right, B-Man. You know.
My favorite pick for him is the Bucks defense. Mostly because I wanted the Bucks defense. We were talking at the Tigers game on the 29th about, picking a stout starting team, and that motherfucker took my advice and
used it against
went on top of it. Yeah,
he played you.
He played me
like a fiddle, Brett. This guy's fucking getting drunk and letting all our secrets out. You gotta fucking watch him, boys.
That's hilarious.
So I'm totally fine with him taking that with what he's got as his starters up above. Probably my least favorite pick. I mean,
that's why I said it's hard. He picked up value, right where they
solid value. It might be Devontae Adams for me.
Up at 5.
Up at 5. It's a little early, I think. But it's kind of like, how do you want to weigh your team? Do you want because the best in that position?
He's healthy and Rodgers is healthy, it's arguably the best receiver in
football. And not only that, look what he did with his next 3 picks. He went RB, RB, RB. Right. So if you're going to do that, I think I don't. And if he does anything close to what Adams did last year, that he's returning value plus some.
Gotcha. So you wouldn't have done, since he drafted Devontae Adams, wouldn't you have gone wide receiver, or something like that?
If it was me, probably, Okay. But at the same time, though, I was at 2. So at the back end of round 2, there's not many running backs left that I would have taken.
He's more in the middle.
Right, because with me, if I would have taken Devontae Adams at 2, I would Clyde Edwards-Helaire would have been there, but to me, I would have wanted. I took obviously Calvin Ridley. I would have taken ahead of him. I would have taken AJ Brown, Justin Jefferson. I would have taken all those that clump of receivers right there. ahead of them. So that's why I probably would have went either wide receiver, or wide receiver, tight end. And
I changed my answer to Mark Andrews because I hate him.
Yeah, right? I know. I hate that I face him because like now it's Lamar and Mark Andrews playing on Monday night. I'm like, dang it.
I just don't think Mark's going to be that great. He wasn't that great last year.
Yeah, I don't think so either. But all right, Craig, what's yours?
Yeah.
Mine's kind of like I would say Joe Mixon is my favorite and my least favorite pick. Mainly because I think Joe Mixon.
Yeah.
Joe Mixon is probably gonna have a huge year if he stays healthy.
Mm-hmm.
We know he eats. So
yep.
I also think second round is too early for Joe Mixon because I wanted him in the third. So it really irritates me that he got him literally in the second. Because I think it's just maybe a little early. But I guess right where he's supposed to go. But in all honesty, I don't know why. I think my least favorite would be Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Or Mark Andrews. I don't think any tight end outside of the top 3 is basically like a quarterback where they're all the same points.
Right, where they're all the same.
Yeah. And then I mean Baker Mayfield, man, what are you hoping for there? I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean he's got Kyler Murray, so like I wasn't looking at the Baker Mayfield pick.
I was just wondering why. It's just a weird like it's just it might as well pick like anything else, you know?
Right. No, yeah, good point.
Like
kind of like how I did, yeah, exactly.
You could have picked a rookie QB that could have had a big year, like Mac Jones. I think is still out there. Like, I don't know. It's all right.
Oh yeah,
there's
quite a few. Yep,
he's probably got a plan.
All right, boys, let's move on to Craig.
Big bad Craig.
Yeah,
dude.
I'll go first because my favorite pick of yours is Najee.
You like that, eh?
I do, and honestly, I viewed him as a first round talent. Like if I was in Dan's shoes at 10. I would have taken Najee over Chubb. I would have taken Najee over all those that were left there.
Sure.
But that's just obviously my personal opinion. So for you to get him in the mid round too,
Josh.
Yeah, that's my least favorite of yours is probably so many. No, just kidding.
Wow, come on now.
It's probably Adam Thielen, just because what I've said before
Wow.
about him. It's probably Adam Thielen or Tyler Lockett. You choose.
Justin Jefferson.
So, all right, Brand, you next.
My favorite, I think, is James Robinson.
Yeah, that's a good
third. Because what did he end up finishing last year, running back?
He was a top 10 running back. I think he was like 6 or 8 or something. 7?
Yeah, he was up there, and I mean that's a solid pick there to get him in the third. He kind of was one of those names that like nobody really knew.
Yeah, the only issue I have with Robinson is Urban Meyer's a frat boy, and so anyone who went to Ohio State, aka Carlos Hyde, he's gonna force him into the game plan somehow. I'm not saying he's gonna make
Carlos Hyde can't stay healthy.
Right. But so yeah, I'm just saying like that'd be the only thing that worries me.
Then probably your worst pick might actually be Tom Brady in the 8th, only because I feel like
I felt
could have ended up
early.
Right, a little early. I felt like you could maybe have gotten him even as late as the 10th, but
yeah. At the same time, I think he was just trying to get his QB. You know what I mean? So like, I don't mind that in the 8th.
I think I was looking down a barrel.
Well, then you shouldn't mind the Bucs defense pick in the year,
right? I think
QB is a lot more important than defense. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It just is.
Yeah, I think there was like 4 good QBs left when I.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
There was like 5 teams or 4 teams without a QB. So
right?
Like, do I keep playing it? So
right, and that's what I mean by you were just trying to get the next best QB.
I mean, I think Tom Brady could have a really big year. So I mean,
he did fantastic last year.
I was gonna say
definitely do it again.
I did have a 1B for my favorite, and that's Trey Sermon.
Yeah, same.
Yeah,
it was my 1B. Yeah.
Some might say 9 is high, but in that offense, if Mostert doesn't get hurt, he's still going to have some value. But then if Mostert gets hurt, he's just you have 4 top 12, 15 running backs. That's my 1B. But all right, let's go to Mr. 10th place, Shane.
Oh, Shane.
Can anybody find a pick they like on here, dude?
Oh my god.
Oh, I have a few that I didn't like, but I'll do that.
I will say Amari Cooper in the fourth. I get the hype on CD and everything like that, but Amari Cooper's just too good. I mean, you can say it's going to be real similar to like Julio and was it Ridley?
Yeah,
but I think Cooper's gonna I value Cooper like a number 2 or 3 any day of the week. I think he's too good. So he's gonna get a lot of points if he stays healthy, and then if his quarterback stays healthy, we'll see what happens. I think that offense is gonna go.
What's his worst pick, Greg?
His worst pick. That's worst pick. Oh man, which quarterback?
Right.
Let's see.
There's
three quarterbacks. Yep. I like Stafford, so I'll say I don't know why I picked Joe Burrow.
I just saw that he has 3 quarterbacks.
Jalen Hurts. This is why he's.
This kid does it every year. He manages to amaze the shit out of me. Like 1 year he had like 4 tight ends. This year he's got 3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, we'll just go with Joe Burrow. I don't like Mecole Hardman either. Like he's been proven to be useless even when.
Yeah, but that's the 16th round. So
still, what a waste of a fucking 15th round, dude.
That's fair. That's fair. My favorite.
Find some better value, goddammit.
Figure it out.
My favorite is probably Jonathan Taylor in the second.
Okay.
Just because I think, don't get me wrong, I don't think he was like a mid first round pick, but I thought he was an end of. That's probably another one I would have taken over Chubb, maybe. But to get him in the mid second, I thought was pretty good value. And then I'm not picking one of the QBs. I'm picking the fact that he picked 3 QBs as his worst pick. Because that's just dumb.
You got Stafford. I think Stafford. That's gonna be so much.
No, I know, but I'm saying the fact that he picked 3 is his worst. Shane, like,
what were you thinking, Shane?
Right. I mean, so I was just like, that just was probably his worst pick of picking 3 QBs. Because, like I told him, I was like, dude, which one are you going to start? Oh, it depends on matchup. Well, what if 2 of them have a good matchup? Well, whichever one has the better. Well, but now you're just gonna bitch. Oh, if I would have did this, I would have done that. It's like
for sure.
You're just putting yourself to lose more games than you're
putting himself in that kicker situation that he had.
Right. Like if he had Stafford and Hurts, I would love that QB combo, honestly, because you get to see what Hurts is, and if he's a baller, cool, put him in over Stafford. But if not, Stafford's gonna be solid for you, and he has a solid roster, like he does. It's just
he really does.
He could really mess up this quarterback situation. Like I'm sorry, that could be his downfall.
Mm-hmm.
If your quarterback's
the wrong guy every week,
right? Yeah, if your quarterback's getting you 15 points a week, that's bad.
He's got a lot of like Galladay, Mostert, very injury-prone players to not have a more depth on his bench than defense and quarterback. I don't get it, but
now Shane at times was drafting right before me, so like there are guys he took that like I was like eyeballing,
looking,
and so but I'll say that I think Kenny Galladay could potentially be his best pick just because he got him. It looks like it's all the way in the 7th round. And if he's the number 1 wide receiver there with that young quarterback, they could hook up and then you could be looking at a great situation there. But the Giants suck, so it might not be that great.
The Giants. Hey, at least the boys back.
Right. And then my least favorite pick by him, it's gotta be the 3 quarterbacks. I've never been that big of a fan of Stafford. He's one of those guys where it's like I love him as a person. I think he's great for an organization because he's never going to do anything wrong.
Right.
It's very white.
But
that's
is he the guy that I think is going to take a team to a Super Bowl and put up like Aaron Rodgers numbers?
But not only that, too, you got to think with that Rams defense, like they're not going to be trailing in too many games. So that's already going to be. And then you just got to think like, is the one thing that helps him is Akers getting hurt. And then Darrell Henderson being all like, oh, I injured my thumb. I need a surgery on it and shit. Like, to where they might just lean on the pass. But if they get up by 2 touchdowns, that's enough for them to stop passing the ball because their defense is just so good. So like that's your one worry with Stafford is that and stuff. Because too, you gotta think like why was Todd Gurley so good in LA, that was because every time they got in the red zone, they like to run the ball. You know, they like to run the ball when they're inside the 5, inside the 10 and stuff. And so there's a lot of rushing touchdowns there. So I get the hype for Stafford, but I also get Bren's point about not being a fan of him for that.
Yeah.
So, but hey, he has Burrow and Hurts, so he's good. All right, let's move on to you, Bren.
Okay.
I'll go first. My favorite pick by far is Barkley. That's
okay.
To get him that late in the second, it was, and especially with already having Eckler, like I told you before, just you have that safety if Barkley doesn't work out, you could take that risk, you know.
Yeah.
And let's see, you're my least favorite. Honestly, I think it'd be Evans in the 4th. I just with like I said, with that offense, like he has the potential to blow this out the water, but then he also has the potential because he's kind of like a better version of Tyler Lockett, where he relied a lot on touchdowns. Like he had a lot of games last year of 1 catch for 1 yard and a touchdown, 2 catch for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns. You know, and you got to think now with if that defense is that good, are they still going to be passing as much? But then that too, Antonio Brown's going to be fully acclimated into this offense. And then now they have Giovanni Bernard. So just, I mean, he's your wide receiver too. So it's not awful if that doesn't work out. But like I said, I just felt 4 was too high for him. So that'd probably be my worst for you.
Gotcha.
Craig?
There's not a pick that Bren made that I do not like. I think Bren has the best team. Like overall, I look at every single player and I would love that team. My most I think Kareem Hunt at 6. It's great value.
Yeah.
The way they play with those running backs, that dude gets RB, fringe RB1 numbers. So
I just remember seeing Josh. It was you who had him last year, right, Josh?
Justin. Didn't Justin have Kareem Hunt for the longest time?
Kareem Hunt last year?
Yeah, and then Justin started with him, and then he traded him to
him to you.
So he was a champion at the end of the year, for sure.
Yeah.
See, I got champion caliber player.
I'm not even gonna say, like, you got CeeDee Lamb in the 3rd. Like, I'm so jealous. Like, you got...
Yeah.
I don't like Mike Evans, to be fair. I don't really like any of the Tampa Bay roulette wheel, but I can't say a negative thing. I'll suck your dick for that team.
Oh my goodness, that escalated quickly.
Devin Singletary in 11, like Devin Singletary's gonna ball out. You got the 49ers defense. Like,
okay, I'm changing my favorite pick to your 9th pick, Bren. My boy, waiver wire hero, Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah.
I just, for quarterbacks, I kept having to slip down my board, right? I had like kids who were much higher up there, and then they just kept disappearing. And then I was like, you know what? He's got them low key, quiet stats that just jump off the page. Let's go.
He's rarely gonna get you less than like 18, 19 points. Rarely.
Right.
You know. So all right, let's move on to Nate Dogg. Craig, you can go first for Nate Dogg.
My favorite pick from Nate Dogg. Probably gonna have to go with TJ Hawkinson at 5. Probably my favorite one.
What's your worst?
My worst for
his worst, yeah.
His worst. Well, yeah. Brandon Cooks. Actually, that's a really good place to get Brandon Cooks.
Right.
I don't really like Robert Woods or Allen Robinson. I know they're really good, but they've never been on my team. I just don't see the hype. I guess they're pretty good, but I don't know. He's got pretty. I like TJ Hawkinson. I don't really not like any of his stuff outside. I like the top, the last 10. I can go without.
Yeah, that's fair.
10, 11, 12, but.
All right, B-Man, do you want to go?
Sure. So my least favorite for Nate, I'll start with that versus my favorite, is probably Robert Woods. Just because I feel like he's one of those wide receivers that has trouble finding the end zone.
Yeah.
He's bolstered by the fact that he's used in their run game quite often.
Right. Yeah, and especially now with the injuries, he might be a little more. Yeah.
Right. I don't know. Like, I guess it'll kind of depend on who Stafford falls in love with. If he falls in love with Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods could just kind of struggle to find the end zone and not be really your wide receiver one kind of guy.
Right. Well, it is possible for both of them too. I mean, both of them have been really good with Goff before, so it is possible for both of them.
Very true.
But yeah, it just like you said though, to your point, like especially in the red zone, like who is he going to fall in love more with, the slot guy in Cooper Kupp or the multifaceted Robert Woods?
Yeah. And then my favorite pick. I want to say Aaron Jones just because I love Aaron Jones so much, but it's his first overall pick. May have to be someone like Jalen Waddle just because
that upside.
We saw those rookies last year come in and really put like a surprise shock into the league, like CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson. There were guys that were just amazing to have on your team, and you drafted them super late because they were rookies.
Right. Yeah.
May end up being Jalen Waddle.
So my favorite. So this is going to be a little weird here. So my favorite is going to be Allen Robinson. Just because he's a baller, and he's gonna argue, which is sad. Andy Dalton's gonna arguably be his best QB he's played with in his career,
which is really sad.
Yeah, which is really
I've never
sad.
heard of him. Jeez.
But if Fields gets in, I think he's just gonna eat ball even more.
Yeah.
And then my least favorite is Robert Woods, who he took in the third before Allen Robinson. So I would have loved Allen Robinson even in the third round if he had taken him there. But yeah, I just think that's a little bit of a reach for Robert Woods. You probably could have. I mean, I guess it wouldn't have mattered if you took him in the fourth, since if you took Robinson in the third. But I feel like you probably could have got Woods closer to the fifth instead. You know what I mean?
And to comment on your point too, this was kind of my issue with going running back when we were in the late portion of the draft, because you get two solid guys like Aaron Jones and Antonio Gibson should both be solid as long as they stay healthy.
Right.
But then you're kind of put in that pocket where you're looking for that wide receiver one, and the talent right around there isn't the greatest necessarily.
Right. Go ahead.
I don't know. I didn't love having to draft CeeDee Lamb and Mike Evans. There are definitely other wide receivers I would have rather had.
Right.
But it's just
right. And my issue, and because I could have gone running back as well. But to your point, my issue with the wide receivers in this area of that kind of third through 6, 7 round is you have 3 or 4 teams that have 3 wide receivers that are just so grouped together that you're just you're basically picking one and hoping one or all 3 of them just fall out. Right. Yeah. And I just didn't want to deal with that. So that's another reason I kind of even though I'm you could say my wide receivers are weaknesses, but it's Cortland Sutton and Jerry Jeudy. That's it. It's Calvin Ridley. That's it. You know what I mean? Corey Davis and who else? You know what I mean? A lot of my receivers that I'm going to rely on they're not in these kind of wide receiver committees, and stuff. I just didn't want to deal with the headache of picking one, unless one of them felt like how Aaron or Antonio Brown fell to the 12th or 11th round. At that point, I was like, okay, I could take that risk, but I wasn't gonna waste. The only one I was going to was Amari Cooper. I would have. I probably should have taken him or I couldn't take him in the 4th. But if he was there for me in the 4th, I was gonna take him for sure. So that offense, I was kind of gonna do that. But other than that, it was just I just didn't want to deal with that headache of the Bengals wide receivers, of the Steelers wide receivers, of you know what I mean. So yeah. So all right, let's move on to Dan, the last one for this thing. So let me see here.
The worst team ever, dude. Did you see this team? Ew, gross. Every pick. Nope.
So they're tied for worst picks for me, for him. And they're 2 rounds apart. Chase Edmonds in the 5th and Juju in the 7th. I just don't. I'm not a Chase Edmonds fan. I think that's gonna be way more of a committee than. And he has James Conner too, but barring an injury, I think it's going to be one game is one person, one game's the other one, and the sad part is Chase Edmonds, even when he had the backfield to himself last year, he didn't do much with it. So I'm not sure if he's even that kind of, if James Conner gets hurt, I'm not sure if Chase Edmonds could even be a running back too. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't know. 7's a little high for me with Juju. He's the slot guy. And if they play 2 tight ends more because of Pat Freiermuth, that takes him off the field. And you just don't know right now what that offense is going to look like.
Yeah.
And if he's out last year. Yeah, because he did good last year, but that's because he got many targets.
I don't even think Juju did that well last year.
Juju didn't do that well. I don't think.
You wouldn't think so, but because he got so many targets and catches, because freaking Big Ben was throwing 60 times a game, that he ended up like a top 20 receiver, 25 receiver, something like that.
Okay.
Maybe look at him. So, but my favorite pick, I think, is Michael Thomas in the 8th.
Yeah.
Getting him in the 8th.
And all about him.
Well, I was going to pick him, but he picked him before me, obviously. So, but yeah, I just think even though you have to wait 6 weeks, if he can survive and just not be 0-7 by the time Michael Thomas gets back. Yeah, like even if he's like a game or two, but behind 500, but just be in the race to be in the playoffs. You know what I mean? If he could just do that till Thomas gets back, that helps his team a lot more. So, but anyways,
once it comes back healthy, that's the biggest worry.
Right. So, Craig, what are your picks?
I don't. Yeah, Juju at 7. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Chase Claypool. I can't remember if Chase Claypool went before or just after, but I think I had Juju last year. I think the only time he really actually got points is like he made a few, like 1 or 2 catches that really saved his point totals.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Chase Claypool was in the 8th round, so yeah, he went after.
Yeah, so it's just I'd rather have Claypool for the upside, the way Claypool played last year, the way Juju played last year, the way they just kind of started shying away from him. Taking him at 7, I would have let him drop a little further.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one.
My favorite pick, I mean, I think he did it right. I don't want to say Tyreek Hill. I think he did it real good with Tyreek Hill at 10, but because that could have gone a couple different ways.
Think, that was definitely a smart.
You could have taken Saquon or something like that. Yeah, I think Tyreek Hill was a good pick. But I mean, I also like, Michael Thomas. I'm sorry, Dak Prescott as well. I think that offense is going to be top tier this year if they stay healthy.
Yeah.
So Dak Prescott at 6. That's right where it needs to be. But it was a good pick.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for me, my favorite pick for his, it's either the Michael Thomas or the Devontae Smith, just because again, I think some of those rookie wide receivers that come in can make immediate impacts and really shock people.
Yeah.
And then, Michael Thomas could be that piece where it's like, I'm missing something, and then you plug him in later when he gets healthy, and it's just like awesome.
Right. Yeah.
And then my least favorite for him is kind of like what I was talking about with you, Josh, where it's like he picked Chase Edmonds, but he got the handcuff later in the draft. So he did get his handcuff in James Conner, where it's like,
right.
If it turns out James Conner is really the RB1 there, he switches, so
right.
it should be okay.
I would say like the one difference between like that though with like my situation and that is Swift is Edmonds and Williams is better than Connor, so whichever one. You know what I mean? Like
but which offense is better there? Arizona's offense or Detroit's offense?
Right, but this is what I was going to get to though. Arizona's offense is better, but they also have a running back or a quarterback that runs the ball in a lot too.
Hallelujah.
Sure.
That steals. So
he steals those red zones.
Where in Detroit, the running backs are running it in, or it's going to be a passing touchdown, but the quarterback's not going to rush for 11 touchdowns a year. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's where that kind of evens out that part.
Sure.
So I mean that's it. I'm not I'm not trying to say Detroit backfield is going to be amazing. Like I know that's probably, like I said, probably one of my picks that I might regret the most in my draft. So,
Well, I mean, I'll say this: the Lions have potentially one of the better O lines in the game, and they
and that's what
clearly
I'm
want
banking
to come out and run the ball.
Yeah, I'm banking on that old line being better than last year.
Yeah, I mean,
and them not having any wide receivers where they're gonna pass a little more to the running backs. You know what I mean?
And then like the only thing you got to pray is that their defense isn't so bad that they fall behind
and
so
just take
quick.
everybody out.
Yeah.
Yeah, being good in the NFL doesn't really necessarily mean being good at fantasy. So I mean,
exactly.
If they just run the ball, yeah, you could really have something good there.
Right. So, all right, well, we got through those, and Bren, I know you wanted to do like who we thought was going to be a breakout player this year.
Yeah, so this is from the league as a whole.
Yeah, as a whole, right? So just like one player,
so just one player, and it's not necessarily a rookie. It can be someone who's been in the league for a couple years, but maybe last year they were only good, and now they're going to be great or excellent.
Right. So who wants to go first on this one?
I'll go, dude. Higgins, my boy. He's on my team, and that's not on purpose. But coming into his second year, if one of Shane's 3 quarterbacks stays healthy, I think he's gonna have a hell of a good year. So
okay,
yeah, that's a good pick. I like that one. Yeah.
I mean, even with what's his face? Even Joe Mixon. I mean, if Joe Mixon stays healthy, it might help. It might hurt. It's kind of kind of a roll. But I mean, there's a lot of upside potential with second year receivers. So
yeah,
that show potential. So hopefully.
All right, I'll go next. So I actually have 2 because I did one for my team, but I didn't want you guys to be like, "Oh, you're only saying that because he's on your team." So
someone from my team, so it's hilarious.
We're smart. We're smart.
The one from my team is Myles Gaskin. I think he can just ball out this year. I mean, I know it's the preseason, but the way they used him in that second preseason game, like it just shows you the potential that this guy has.
Right.
And so I think he's just gonna ball out. I think he's gonna be a top 5 running back. He has that potential.
He really does. Yeah.
Yeah. And so, but the one I took not from my team, since I wanted to avoid that, was actually on Craig's team, and it's Najee Harris. Like I say, I think he's just gonna get the workload there, and that defense is still good, no matter how much Bren hates it. It's still a really good defense. So I think in more games than not, they're going to be in a position where he's going to be used a lot, whether it's in the running game or the passing game. So I'm very high on Najee Harris. So he would.
Now, are you still high on the defense if TJ Watt ends up just saying screw it and doesn't play this year?
Well, I doubt he's going to do that, but I mean, yeah, I still think they'd be an above average team. Yeah, right. I still think they'd be an above average defense, but not elite no more.
If I wasn't going to pick someone on my own team, by the way, I would say Robbie Anderson with his boy coming back. Sam Darnold's going to be there now, and with the way he catches passes, I think he has a potential of top 15.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's a good call, Craig. All right, Bren.
So my one pick was CeeDee Lamb, just because I think he's gonna have that breakout year and separate himself.
Right.
He is. Congratulations.
If I had to pick, someone on somebody else's team, it may be someone like Trey Sermon. Just because that potential of him kind of just bringing himself out above the other guys, like just being that much better. Or even someone like Chase Claypool. I think Chase Claypool could be excellent this year.
Yeah, if they take those sophomore leaps, right?
Right.
Yeah, no, those are good picks, guys. I actually agree with all those. Like, there's a lot, like I said, a lot of potential this year for some really good teams, So, but all right, so now that that's done, let's move on to, you guys wanted to do the my rankings, huh? My post-draft rankings.
People have been waiting weeks for these, Josh.
I know. Shane's like,
pre-draft withdrawals.
I'm like, what's the point of a pre-draft ranking? Especially when it's a redraft league. Like, I have no teams to go off of. It's just who I like more,
Well,
hey. And that's why
we know who you like the least.
Well, it's like, that's why I put Shane down there. It's like,
put me at 7. How dare you?
So all right, so we're gonna start from 10 all the way up to 1.
Oh, this is
So Craig, you're number 10.
You. Are you kidding me? How you do this to me, man? How you gonna do this?
Because you know how I feel about your wide receivers.
What if I put T. Higgins in there or something? It make you feel better? OBJ?
Yeah, a little bit, but I think you'd still be at 10. Because OBJ he's another boomer bust guy. That's a really run heavy offense.
Sure.
And so you don't have that passing ability, and then they still have Jarvis Landry. They still have Donovan Peoples-Jones. They still got the tight ends, David Njoku's there. So like you have Kareem Hunt who balls out in the passing game. So there's just a lot of.
You know what? I hate you too. So
I mean, don't get me wrong. OBJ is a one catch for 80 yards and a touchdown kind of guy. He can do that, but I feel like that's your whole team. So, like I said, I mean, if one of them hits and your running backs do what your running backs are supposed to do,
yeah,
you'll be okay. But if one of your running back fails to, and one or two of your receivers don't hit, you're in big trouble. You know.
I would say if anyone's wide receivers and running backs don't hit or go down, they're all in trouble. So screw your prediction. I hate you.
Obviously,
Move on.
Yours. I'm saying yours are least likely to hit.
I have the most depth. No, I'm kidding. No, that's fair. That's all very fair.
So yeah,
I agree. And I don't know if I'm 10. I don't know if I put myself at 10. And
I guess let me prefix.
I know where I'd put Greg 10.
Oh fuck!
Yep, 2 out of 3. You lose.
Hey,
I will probably be completely wrong at the end of the year on this. Like Craig's probably gonna be number 1, honestly. So
we'll see. What happens.
But number 9 is Nate Dogg.
Wow.
Put him at 9. Just I'm not as big on Robbie Anderson as Craig is, and
I think
like I said, I'm not as big on Robert Woods either. So, and those were kind of his 2 weak links. And who's his? He does have Russell Wilson, but depends what Russell Wilson you're getting. Last year, he balled out the first half of the year. Then the second half, he stunk.
Yeah,
so, hot or cold. Yeah, he's
right, exactly. So if he's hot and cold like that, that's gonna really ask Justin. That's gonna really mess up your year. Like when Russell Wilson was cold, Justin didn't win, obviously. So I mean, I don't know if you guys got anything to say for.
If you get to yourself and you say, "Well, my guys are gonna be hot, and they're gonna be so hot and scoring points, yeah, I'm gonna win. I'm gonna be so pissed."
I think you guys will be very pleased with where my team is ranked. On
is
this.
it 8? Because I'll be happy with it.
Keep going.
Yeah. So number 8 is Dan.
Okay.
And Dan,
I probably would have put Dan at 10, but
yeah, well, I just like his wide receivers with McLaurin and Hill and Chubb. I like those 3 picks and Kittle. So he has a little more stability, I think, in his main core. But the Chase Edmonds and Juju pick, were the ones that kind of put him down that low for me.
For sure.
Yeah, and if Michael Thomas was healthy right now, Dan would be further up. But since he has to wait 6 weeks, that's another reason why he's a little further down, a lot further down in this list. So, my number 7 though is Funk. I have Funk there. And yeah, after he's another one kind of like that Deontay pick I don't like. Mike Davis I don't necessarily like. Henderson is okay. You know, I do like Aaron Rodgers and Jamar Chase and then Tunyon, but like I just don't know. Like he doesn't have as much consistency as in his lineup. Like I feel like he's going to be one of those that scores 160 one week and then 70 the next week. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So that's why I kind of I feel he's really volatile in that.
Yeah, I could see that.
So, but I really do like the DeAndre Hopkins and Justin Jefferson combo. I think that's going to be killer. And then it's going to be interesting with Henry with the new OC if they're still going to run as much or if they're going to not run as much.
I hope they do. It'd be a shame to put a leash on that mustache.
Brent doesn't hope so. Brent hopes.
I was gonna say I hope they throw the ball a ton.
Right.
That's fair. No, that's fair. Yeah. You want him to run it down there and throw it in. That's what you want.
And number 6 is myself. And
you're so modest.
Well, no, I just I feel my team has the potential to be a lot better, but we don't know because Cortland Sutton, he's a dominant receiver, but he's coming off an ACL, and we don't know how that's going to work, and especially with a new quarterback with Teddy Bridgewater. We already talked about the Lions running backs, how that's going to be interesting. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So I just have a few question marks that if I'm right on them, I have a championship quality team. If I'm wrong on them, it might be a long year.
Okay. See how it is, Josh.
Your team.
Oh my gosh.
Craig
I have so many. Oh my gosh. Listen, if they work out, I'm gonna win the championship. Yeah, same with my team, bro.
No, even if you work out, you're not winning the championship.
You'll be lucky if you make the playoffs, Craig.
Right.
For real. My history, you're right. I got unlimited waivers, bro. I have nothing to bitch about. I'm happy as a clam.
That's true. You should be a happy boy, dude.
I am. I'm going to complain 0 times this year. You guys be as shady as you want.
Craig, you'll move from 9th to 8th place. Don't worry. You'll improve.
That's all I need, baby. Improvement.
At 5, I have Mac's team. And really, I would have Mac lower, but because he has CMC and Patrick Mahomes, that gives him a big advantage.
Right.
Most weeks. So that's why I have him at 5. Number 4, unfortunately, is Shane. He'd be higher if he didn't have 3 quarterbacks.
He's got good core.
Because he has 3 quarterbacks, I just feel like that's a big spot to possibly be missing on every week. You know, if it was your second RB or your flex spot, that was your weakness and you were flipping back and forth and missing, that's one thing. But like I said, if you go against Mahomes and he's getting 30 a week and your quarterback getting you 15, that's a huge difference. So I don't like that. And I don't know. Now that they signed Le'Veon Bell, Gus Edwards isn't as strong as an RB2 as he was 3 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my number.
Say this though, it's like Le'Veon has had a chance at the Jets. He's had a chance at KC. Neither time has he come in and shown out to be same dude. So,
and for me, it's not so much about Le'Veon's talent. It's the fact that the Ravens involve so many people in the running.
So many people, right? There always is a committee, even if Gus is the clear number.
Right. Yeah. So at the you got, even if he takes away 3-4 carries a game only from Gus Edwards, that's a lot, especially since Gus Edwards isn't going to be involved in the run or passing game at all.
No, yeah, he's
So like I said, that kind of helped put. Otherwise, Shane might be a tad bit higher, but at 3, I have Barber. Like I said, I just thought he had a real solid draft.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't. In his starting lineup, the only weakness maybe could be Brandon Ayuk at the flex, but he doesn't have Ayuk at the flex right now. It's his 3 running backs, and so actually Ayuk's his number 2 receiver, and that's. I mean, like I said, I just don't think he has a glaring weakness in his starting lineup. His depth could be a little better, but he has a starting lineup that's going to be solid, assuming everybody stays healthy, obviously. And then number 2, I have Bren. I have you be man.
Yeah, so much better than what ESPN is ranking me in.
At 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was I changed my defense and I went from 10 to 7.
And drop me down, dude.
Yeah.
You're even worse now.
I was like, you're 10 now, I think.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think that but Barkley's your key here.
Sure.
If Barkley gets close to anything what he was 2 years ago, or even
right.
that, you're looking pretty with Eckler, him, and then obviously we're both high on Lamb. I like Julio Jones. Like I said, Mike Evans, I didn't like where you took him, but I don't mind him as one of your 3 receivers,
Yeah, and if Jerry Jeudy ends up being the
right.
guy,
and that's I told you how I was debating between Sutton and Jeudy. So like, I think that's going to be a great replacement if you have to replace one of those. And Logan Thomas is a solid tight end, and you know how I feel about Tannehill. So like I said, your depth could be a little better too, but like I said, just your starting lineup is what put you up there for me. And then number one, I had Justin up there.
Yeah. Justin was my clear number one too.
Just for him, it was like I said, his wide receiver or running back 2, and maybe tight end. But like I said, otherwise, I think he's stacked at every other position.
Yep.
And if Pitts hits, it's going to be super hard to. You're going to have to catch him on his one off week in the playoff if he has one.
Mm-hmm.
If Pitts hits, So, but so I don't know if you guys got any comments on those or want to chime in on anything.
I would agree with switch it around. Like I think when I looked at everything, I feel like Brent has the best team. I mean, I would look at starting lineup and overall depth. I think Brent has everything, and then I would say Justin. And then I think after that, it's far too hard to look at everything. Everyone's got like 4 or 5 really good people, and then it kind of goes off into what you think is valuable, whether that's depth. Or
and that's where it's interesting because like Justin and Bren, they're starting. They're starting.
That's terrible.
I thought about putting him last just because of that. I was like, but Justin and Bren though they have awesome starting lineups, but because of that, their defenses lack a little, or their depth lacks a little bit. Where everybody else, their starting lineup they have better depth, but they have holes in their starting lineup. You know what I mean? To where it was interesting, like the route people took. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's everyone, like you said, everyone's got like 4 or 5 as far as their starting lineup. They got like 4, maybe 5, like plug and play every single week players, and there's question marks in maybe 2 or 3 spots.
Yeah,
for everybody.
But I was kind of the same too.
Minus like Brett and Justin. I think everyone else in it.
Yeah, no, I'm with you that those
Shane would be a part of it, but Shane wasted 3. I mean, you can go through where he picked and where everyone else got picked and just question what he did. But I guess I get it. So,
I mean, even like
it's not my.
To me, the only wide receiver 1 he really has is Amari Cooper. Like Keenan Allen, he's going to be a target monster and all that stuff, but he doesn't get touchdowns either, really. Godwin has the potential to be there, but like I said, that's just a 3-headed monster. Galladay, I just don't trust that offense. I mean,
I think it's too early to tell for most of them, but 100%, I think Brent and Justin have the best.
Yeah, and then like overall, you said, everybody else is kind of just take your pick.
Things. Yeah, and it's what you decide. So
exactly. So, all right, do we want to get into the picks, boys?
Go for it. We gotta do that real quick.
Yeah, wrap this up a little bit here. All right, let me pull up the spreadsheet. Hold up. All right, so I already got mine and Ike's picks in. So let's go with I have me and Barber. Well, we'll do that last since that's the one we're going to chat about a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll do Nate versus Bren. So Craig, you're taking Bren?
Bren, yeah.
Awesome.
I'm going to go myself as well.
Can't just say he's the best team and not pick him. What is this?
Right. I took Bren as well. Unfortunately, Ike did not take Bren.
What?
Ike took Nate.
There you go, Ike.
So you gotta take that up with Ike. Next time you see him.
Good dog.
So, all right, hold up 1 second. Let me step there. All right, you take yourself, Bren.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we got 3 Brens and a Nate. All right, let's go Dan versus Funk. Bren, who you taking?
Let's see here. I'm gonna go with shoot. These guys are so close on their teams. I think I'm gonna lean towards Dan. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Dan by a little bit.
Okay. And Craig, what about you?
Oh yeah, I I picked Dan.
Okay, well, we all three went Dan and Ike went Funk.
Our dog, God damn it. Jeez, this dog is going to be on fire.
If he's on fire, I'll be very upset.
Let's go Mac versus Justin.
Okay.
I took Justin.
Yeah, I mean, I'd choose Justin as well.
And then B-Man, who you go?
It's crazy because you got like Josh Allen, Patty Mahomes, McCaffrey, and Cook. Like that's
I was gonna say, I think I'm gonna go interesting on this one. I'm gonna go Mac.
Oh, I'm saying Justin.
You took Mac and so did Ike.
Okay, see, I'm with the dog, man.
What a dog.
What a dog.
All right, and then Shane versus Craig.
I'm picking myself because I'm the best.
Yep, Craig's taking himself. I took Craig, and Ike took Craig.
Oh, thanks, Ike.
So who is Bren taking?
I'm gonna go Craig.
All right, that's a clean sweep for Craig. A lot of pressure there, Craig.
I hope I don't let you boys down.
Yeah, you better not.
If it makes you feel better,
you up in the next podcast, dude.
Craig. If it makes you feel better, there was like 4 or 5 times last year where I went 4-1 in my picks, and the only one I got wrong was picking myself.
Oh yeah, I'll do it.
All right, we're gonna go me versus Barber. So let's make the picks first. So I'm obviously picking myself. Ike picked Barber. We'll go Bren. Who you picking?
I'm gonna have to go Barber on this one.
Yeah, fuck you, Bren.
Yeah, I don't know what you're smoking over there when you did those post-draft rankings and what you said what you were saying, but I don't know what you go off of.
I did say what I was saying.
I was gonna say I'm gonna say I don't know what you're thinking, but you explained everything you were thinking. So, but still, I don't get it. Barber's gonna destroy you.
Barber's gonna destroy me. We'll see about that.
45 points. That's all I know.
Yeah, right.
To be honest, I would love to just pick your brain, Josh, because everything you do seems to work out most times. So I'm very interested to see how your team
performs this year. You got a wild brain, dude.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun to watch. So I'm gonna bet against you because
you want to hear my thought process on it. I want to pick to myself. I have to. It's myself. I'm not gonna pick against.
Well, I mean, this is the one we're dissecting. This matchup.
Right, exactly.
So definitely tell us.
No, yeah. So, I think the Lamar Kyler kind of wash out. Kyler has a great matchup against Tennessee, and so does Lamar against Las Vegas. And then I think Minnesota's defense is going to be way better than they were last year. Like Mike Zimmer just has a record of having a top even just a top 15 defense, not a bottom 3 defense like he had last year. So even if that thing's closer to 16 a defense, that's not going to be a high scoring game. And I doubt Joe Mixon will do that well if that's the case. I think it's going to be more of the receivers in Cincy that would benefit from that than Joe Mixon. And so I just think Kamara, obviously, I think is in for another possible number 1 season with the workload he's about to get. I mean, he doesn't really have anybody challenging him now that they released Latavius Murray. And even in the receiving game, they're going to have to use him a bunch. Like, I feel like he could put up 40 points in that game against Green Bay because it's either going to be a close game or they're going to be getting blown out where they need to use him. And so, like I said, and then Clyde Edwards-Helaire is facing Cleveland. Cleveland has a really good defense, so that'll that'll be. I think they can. I'm not saying they're going to stop him, but I don't think he'll go off either. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And in New England, it's going to be interesting because New England is getting a lot of people back from taking a year off from COVID. So it's just they should be a really good defense, but with a bunch of those people taking a year off, are they going to gel right away? You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'm just kind of banking on that they're not going to be as cohesive. And like I said, I'm very high on Myles Gaskin. So I think even if they are the good defense, that he's still going to put up numbers anyways. And then
that over there in Miami.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and then like I said, I think Calvin Ridley could challenge. I think those can even out. Like I think those are going to be.
You think Calvin Ridley can with Devontae Adams?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, he's facing New Orleans, who's a good defense. He's going to put Marshawn Lattimore on them. Like I said, I don't think that he's going to not put up points, but I think he can
keeps it close.
Yeah, I don't think he'll be putting up 30 points. I hope not. Obviously, but
that's Devontae Adams, man.
But Ridley is facing Philly though, and that's probably going to be a high-scoring game. And like I said, outside of Pitts, who else is challenging Ridley for targets? And if I think that's going to be like a 35-28 type game, you got to think Ridley's going to be a big part of that. You know, I think Waller's going to beat out Andrew. I think that's where my big advantage is going to come, I think.
Fair.
And then Ayuk and Sutton, that's a tough one. Because, I mean, Ayuk should do better than Sutton, but it's just they could run the ball 60 times on Detroit. Like,
easily could end up running the ball.
You know what I mean? You know how they did in the playoffs where they passed it like 8 times? Yeah. I could totally see something like that happening where that just limits all the receiving options on San Francisco. You know, I mean, maybe not 8 times, that's probably extreme, but where they're only passing maybe 20 times, and if they're up 20 at half, they're probably not going to play some of these players. You know what I mean? So that's my
proven with a small sample size.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, but Sutton could equal that out by just not having a good game.
You're not really worried about Lamar Jackson and Mark Andrews? You don't think Mark Andrews is gonna
I mean
touchdown or anything?
Because I think they're just gonna don't get me wrong, that does cross my mind. Like but still I think my advantage over Andrews with Waller will equal that out, if that makes sense.
Okay.
So even though that takes a little from there. So and then the defense, I'm thinking Dallas can score on Tampa Bay. Because Tampa Bay, even though they're a really good defense, they still give up points sometimes, especially against really good offenses. And
yeah, it wasn't I agree with you there.
So I think they can be limited to like 5 points or something like that. And I'm hoping that with Joe Burrow's knee and them not having a great offensive line, and like I said, I just think in general Minnesota's defense will be improved, that I could probably gain a couple points in that round.
Now, the only thing there is, I agree with you in the fact that, Zimmer is a defensive-minded coach, and he's typically always had a great defense, but did they get anyone new there that stirs up that defense?
Well,
I don't know.
Yes and no. So, they had a couple people that they signed last year, but then they didn't play because of COVID.
Okay.
And so they still have Danielle Hunter, who's an elite pass rusher. And then they got Sheldon Richardson. They got a couple other D tackles. I can't remember their name offhand. And so, but then their secondary is really good. Like Cameron Dantzler, who's a cornerback from last year, is the second year. He was a standout cornerback last year. He's really good. And then they got the safety that they just signed to an extension, Anthony Harris, I think his name is. No, not Anthony Harris. Harrison, whatever.
Harrison Smith. Yeah,
that guy.
He's a
really
baller.
Good. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I said. Their defensive line is going to create the pressure that makes up for any deficiencies for the most part. And like I said, that offensive line for Cincinnati isn't good. So even if
they're bad.
Yeah, even if Minnesota's not an elite defense, they're probably going to look elite against that. And then you got to think Joe Burrow's probably not going to be as mobile with coming right off of surgery. You know what I mean? So that's
I don't know, man. Greg. It sounds like it just sounds like everything's adding up to a game where Cincinnati's forced to pass it and Joe Mixon takes nothing but dumps and fucking runs them. So,
yeah, don't get me wrong, that's a possibility, but it for me, I guess it just depends. As long as he's not getting both. If he does, I don't. What I'm afraid of is him getting 100 yards rushing and then 50 yards on 5 catches and a touchdown both ways. You know what I mean? Like,
are you worried
if he
about
gets
Tampa
like
Bay at Dallas?
What's that?
Are you worried about Tampa Bay at Dallas?
Like his defense?
Yeah.
No, because like I said, they tend to give up points against good defenses.
Okay.
Now, I'm not saying Dallas is gonna score 30 points on them, but I think they're gonna be able to put up 14 to 20 points. Because I mean, you gotta think about it too. Like, even if Tampa Bay gets up big, Dallas is probably gonna put up some garbage points against them. So as long as I can avoid the Dak Prescott giving like 3-4 turnovers, or Zeke fumbling the ball twice, or if I can avoid those high turnovers,
sure,
then or a turnover touchdown, I think I'll be okay. Like I said, I don't think they're gonna go negative or anything like that, but if they're under 10 points, I'll be okay with that. So, because I think Minnesota can match them at that point. And then the kickers, I think, is a wash. I don't know. I don't pay attention to kickers. So, like I said, I just know I have a shot, and I'm not going to pick against myself,
Of course, obviously.
So, and I got lucky because if he had a lot more easier matchups with his teams, like if Clyde Edwards-Helaire was playing like Jacksonville or something, I'd be a lot more scared. But I think some of the matchups that he has gives me a shot with some of the matchups that I have. So the one where he might, because like that, he's got David Montgomery in the flex, that they're facing the Rams. So that's going to be a tough matchup for that,
Sure.
And every time they've played so far, they're playing in Los Angeles, but usually when the Rams and Chicago face each other, it's a low scoring game. So even if
quarterback, right, in Chicago?
Andy Dalton, the best one of Allen Robinson's career, remember? The rifle, baby.
It's so crazy that they're going to start Andy Dalton over Justin Jefferson.
Justin Jefferson, yeah.
Justin
not
Fields.
Justin Jefferson, Justin Fields.
Justin Fields, okay, that makes more sense.
That'd be impressive if Jefferson played quarterback, too.
Right, if he's quarterback and wide receiving.
Right.
He's on different teams with balling out.
Yeah, I could have swore they got a rookie this year. So
yeah, no, Justin Fields should be starting 100%. I don't understand what they're doing over there. But
well, have you heard that like people are like they're just basically making Dalton the sacrificial lamb because they didn't want to start Fields against the Rams and like get his confidence down, so they're starting Dalton, and then I think they got like Cincinnati next week, and then another easy matchup, and then they got the Lions, and then so like that's
sacrificial lamb.
Yeah, so a lot of people are like they're just
smart. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, right.
Sacrifice the redhead. Fuck redhead. Dude.
Yeah,
say Dalton don't care. He's getting paid. He's like, I'll fucking do that.
Yeah, exactly. So,
well, all right then, dude. We went through all the matchups. We went through pretty much everything there that we wanted to get through.
Yeah, it's good to get back in it. It's good having Craig on here too, because I don't have to talk as much. So
yeah, I always like having that extra opinion in there.
Yeah, thanks for having me, boys. I appreciate it. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no problem. So when are we posting this?
Well, I'll get you over the sound file here right after this. We can talk about it for a quick second, and then we'll it's gonna be kind of just on you and how things go.
Okay, all right, that sounds good. So.